Okay, so let me start. Okay, today it's actually the introduction about this one, but this is not introduction. I would say like this is actually all the things in the human factors and ergonomics. So if your BS is actually from IE, perhaps this one is actually even beyond what you know about the what is human factors and ergonomics. And perhaps if you are not from IE, it is okay. If this is the first time that you know about human factors in ergonomics, it's also okay. Okay, so for this class, okay, just like my previous classes, I think some students already know that if you come to my class, okay, I only have one assignment actually, okay, and the assignment is actually just 5 pages for a conference paper. Conference paper. You can choose any topics. You can choose any kind of ergo topics, okay, that you like, and then we have to submit that one to a conference. And don't worry for the publication fee. Mapua University will shoulder the publication fee, and it's not cheap. Usually it's one paper. It costs 20,000 pesos. So the school already can support all of you. If you can produce 20, then the school will support how much, like 400,000 pesos. The school will support actually. And then you have to present that one in 12 minutes, and then the 3 minutes Q&A during the international conference. But it's actually after the class. The conference will be next year, 2022. So even after completing this class, okay, I will still contact you, okay, to present your, I would say that your work. Okay, and then for this class, if you cannot attend, it's also okay because I will record the class. But actually, the final exam is not the final exam. The final assignment is only one, right? But actually, starting from the week, the fourth week or the fifth week, I will check your paper from the introduction, from methodology, from the results and discussion, and later on we can submit to the a conference and so on. So uh, the progress is actually every week. So that's why I highly encourage everyone to attend, the class. But if not, it's okay. You can send the paper, then I will just give the feedback. Okay. And then if you have any questions, you can ask through Breakport or anywhere, my Facebook or my Fiber. I'll share it later. Okay. And then don't worry about the grade. I think Tina, what grade you got in my class? Can I ask? You can share to everyone.
One po.
Yes, one, right? So don't
Yes,
worry
sir.
about don't worry about this class. If I would say like do it slowly from introduction until the end. 1.0 is definitely a big guarantee. Okay, for to in my class. Okay, but if you usually someone would never someone who doesn't got the 1.0 in my class usually, okay, uh, he or she disappeared for several weeks, and after that, at the end, he or she returned with without checking the how is it. I need to check again like the introduction, the methodology, the results week by week. Usually, I always like that. And if someone usually just jump to the end, then I was like, hey, this is missing, and this is that one is missing, and so on. Usually, like I the final score is not 1.0 usually for that, but still, of course, you can pass my class. Okay. Uh, Another one for the batch 2021, it's mas mahirap for all of you in 2021 kasi in 2021 you need to publish two Scopus Index how is it that Scopus Index publications. Okay, so if you're the new batch, then this is from this class you can get one actually. So, and you will see me again in the research method. You can have the second one. So basically, like even without your thesis, from the class, you can pass those two publications because when you want to get your MS diploma, they will check your publication for the previous batch for the before 2021. It's just a Scopus Index publication, only one. Okay, but for 2020 this batch, if your student ID like 2021, then you need to have two in the whole whole year of your study. So from this class, it's a good chance for you to have at least one. Okay, so don't worry, I will guide you from zero until I will guide you from sorry, I got you from 0 until later on we can get the you know, the publication. Okay. Any questions or comments before I start the class for the exam or for the anything you want to discuss, everyone? Hey, is it Sir Eric? Sir Eric, you is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
hello again. Hello again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, I was like, okay, this name is familiar, so I'm like, okay. Okay, any other questions for before I start the class? No.
None so far.
Yeah,
None,
so
sir.
far okay. Okay, so far okay, then I can start the class. Okay, so today I would like to start with the introduction to human factors and ergonomics in 3 main domains: the physical ergonomics, cognitive ergonomics, and also macroeconomics. And I'm Dr. Yogi, and yeah, I'm the instructor for this course. Okay, so basically, okay, my research expertise is in the past is actually close to the human factors and ergonomics, but nowadays, because I cannot get it's difficult for me to get the data, you know, usually for me to conduct any kind of experimental study. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of like shift my direction to macroergonomics and how is it that, and consumer behavior. Okay, so yeah, basically you can you know, you can see this one. Okay, now basically, okay, I would like to talk about human factors and ergonomics. Now, if you don't know, sometimes it's funny, you know, when I meet up with someone not from engineering or not from psychology, not from medical, usually from social sciences. Okay, when they say, oh, what's your major? I'm like, ergonomics. Oh, you're good at money. I'm like, that's economics, you know. I'm my major is ergonomics. Okay, I'm not collecting money, I'm not counting the money and so on. Okay, anyway, this is the definition of ergo. Okay, about human factors and ergonomics. This is like a scientific discipline. Okay, and definitely this scientific discipline, if we would like to see the human, okay, at the interaction of the human in the system. Okay, the human and the human and the system. Okay. We apply some theoretical framework, the principles, you know, we also conduct and kind of like data analysis. Sometimes nowadays people do data mining in the human factors, and then those things is actually the goal is to optimize or to maximize the performance and enhance the well-being of the person. Okay, that's why the scientific that's why human factors in ergonomics, you know, it's a multidiscipline. I mean, it's you can see ergo is actually being studied by many fields. For instance, psychology, for instance, public health. Okay, they study medicine. They also study about the human factors and ergonomics, perhaps more physical, of course. And usually for psychology, it's more cognitive, of course. Okay, and then another one is like architecture. Architecture, they also study about a little bit about human factors and ergonomics, especially for the lighting and acoustic. Okay, and even so, some parts of the human factors ergonomic, it goes to the consumer behavior. So that's why when someone from marketing, when they talk with me, well, we also can collaborate, and you know, human factors can and talk to people from you know, those fields, as long as there is a human. Okay, as long as there is a human, then that is a human factors and ergonomics. Okay, if there is no human, then it is not a human factors and ergonomics. Okay. So there are 3 main domains of the human factors and ergonomics, and those are the physical ergonomics, cognitive ergonomics, and macroeconomics, or organizational ergonomics. Okay, so physical, cognitive, and organizational or macroeconomics. Okay, but perhaps for those people who learn about ergo in the undergraduate, you only know about physical ergonomics, and perhaps what you know about ergonomics is just the ergonomics chair. Okay, when I say like, oh, you design the chair, you design the table, I'm kind of like, hey, you know nothing about ergonomics, you know, don't say that in front of me. So ergo is not just about the ergo chair, or just like, oh yeah, you do the body and so on, this is the ergo friendly and so on. No, it's not just about that, it's beyond it. Okay, it's beyond what you know about ergo. That's why in this class, I would like to show the first class. I would like to show all of you how big it is, the human factors and ergonomics. Okay, even even up till PhD, you still cannot finish, the whole thing in those three. Okay, now I go with the first domain. This is the domain that you know about, usually you know, but oh yeah, it's ergo chair, it's like this one, workstation, and so on, those boring old topics. Okay, but you can see the physical ergonomics. Oh, this is actually me. I was thin, a little bit thin that time. Okay, when I was in the first year or of PhD, I think it is one. Yeah. Okay, you can see, right? I perform something. I perform something. Actually, in here, you know what? I put the insole. Okay, I put the insole in here. Because actually, uh, this one I would like to see the effect of the insole to my center of mass or center of pressure, because to my balance. So that's why I I add something in here. I perform a task and I would like to see how it affects me physically. Okay, but physical ergonomics, of course, you know about this one, workstation, right? Another one, like, oh, this is the posture, this is the body, this is, and so on. And that is perhaps the thing that we can do in this class. Because in this class, okay, well, this is online class. It's impossible for us to get, to ask you to come to get to conduct a study like this one. So the one that we can do in this class, if you would like to do a physical ergonomics, this kind of study, we can do with postural analysis. We call it this one, okay? The postural analysis. And we deal with the physical differences and the limitations. Of course, the goal is to enhance the safety and productivity and so on. Okay. Now, this is actually the general thing when you would like to talk about the musculoskeletal disorder in the physical ergonomics. Okay, the first thing is like musculoskeletal disorder. It starts with discomfort. But this discomfort is actually being, I would say that, influenced by repetition, posture, and contact stress. Okay, repetition. Okay, you keep you do you know what the problem for me these days? Is there someone who has the same problem, like you use mouse too much, and this area is kind of like this area, because I keep scrolling the mouse, and this one becomes so uncomfortable. Do you have this kind of problem?
Yes.
Yes, right? Okay, so you have that problem. That's it's actually because of the repetition. Okay, because of the repetition, you just keep scrolling all the time. For me, I keep scrolling the paper, I keep scrolling something, and up to a certain day, I'm like, oh my god, this is so, I mean, it hurts. And then that's why I did, oh, okay, perhaps for me it's time for me to stop. Okay, my brain is fine, everything is fine, I mean, my body is fine, but my hand is kind of like, oh, it's this, I mean, very very discomfort. Okay, now the second one is actually because of the posture. Okay, because of the posture, and there are two things in here. It's actually awkward posture or like wrong posture. Okay, and the second one is actually sustained posture. Of course, the awkward posture, like when you sit like this one, like that one, this angle and so on, you will lead discomfort, and it goes to the musculoskeletal disorder. But the second one is very important for everyone. Although you buy the chair, like sobrang mahal, around like 6,000, and so on, but you sit there for 3 hours or 4 hours without getting without standing and so on. What will happen to you? You will feel like, oh, it's so painful, or like, oh, my lower back is actually really tight and so on. That is actually because of sustained posture. Okay, sustained posture, although you buy it so expensive, like ergo friendly, ergo chair, ergo table, ergo whatever that is, if you have the sustained posture, you keep doing like this one for more than 40 minutes, and then the duration, I would say that the whole work is perhaps 8 hours and so on. Of course you will still have lower back pain and so on, although you buy like a super expensive chair. Okay, so awkward posture and sustained posture will still lead to the discomfort and the musculoskeletal disorder. Okay, and then the final one is actually contact stress. Okay, so contact stress is actually like Oh no, I don't have the contact stress because my table is I know Ergo, so that's why my table is nice. I cannot show, but contact stress is like a sharp edge on your table, and then your hand is just there. So this is, imagine like this is a sharp edge. Wait, okay, let's say this is the table. Okay, this is the table. It's quite sharp, and then your hand is actually doing like this one. You will face a discomfort, right? If you do this one, because this is sharp. This is sharp. So that's what I call contact stress. Do you have that in your office, everyone? I believe that many tables in the Philippines, they have contact stress, including at my work,
Yeah.
including at my own, table, at Mapua. So that's why I keep complaining, like, hey, we know Ergo, but why there is a contact stress on the table? And everybody just silent. Oh, it's the purchasing department. And oh, I need to teach the purchasing department how to purchase a more Ergo friendly for faculties. Do you have that, like a sharp, sharp
Yeah.
table? Yeah.
Sharp.
How is that? How is that? Do you like it?
No.
No, right? You feel it like Verena. All right.
Yeah, I eventually had to buy myself a wrist strap because I've been working a lot with some of the designs at work. So I
Yeah.
had to buy a wrist strap because my wrist is really
Yes.
painful at the end of the
Yes.
day.
Yes, I know it's very painful. The same with me when every time when I work at Mapua, the one that I really hate. I mean, my chair is fine. I mean, the one that I hate is the table. I keep complaining to the dean like, hey, can you buy something? Like, oh, what happened with the table? I'm like, it's sharp. Like there is a contact stress. Contact stress, right? Oh yeah, we know, but why don't we apply it? The one that is good. I mean, no need to be expensive, okay, for the table. As long as there is a like round shape or oval shape, it will be much better. The same thing. Remember the old I would say that the old mobile phone, where if you have old mobile phone, the in here is quite sharp, right? Do you still keep your old phone? It's actually sharp, square like that one. And do you know why Apple One offer so many brands during that time? Because when you have something sharp, people will have some kind of like a can't say words or some kind of adjective. That is also in cognitive actually. People will think that that one is actually dangerous, or like that's unfriendly or unsafe, and so on. That's why they come up with a round, like a little bit like the design. And all of a sudden, like the other brands, they also do the same things. That is the same thing, with the concept of this one, the contact stress. Okay, this is important. These three are very important. Every time when I go to any kind of top conferences, when they talk about MSD, in my brain, I always see these three things: repetition, posture, and then contact stress. Okay. Okay. So okay, this is for those people, for the students who would like to conduct a study that utilize physical ergonomics. I think I already uploaded several studies in the Blackboard. You can see that some of the previous students, how great, they really conduct those studies. Okay. But for example, some students, they don't do this one. They just go directly to this one is also fine. Okay, let me tell the whole story. Okay. Oh, my coffee is very strong, so this is where everyone, sorry. Let me share it back. Okay, this one. Yeah, my coffee is a little bit strong, so I feel like it's what coffee is this? Oh yeah, Brazilian coffee. This is from Santos, so that's why is it Brazilian? I think yes. Yeah, it is Brazilian. Okay, anyway, if you want to conduct, any kind of study that utilizes physical ergonomics, okay, this is actually the standard. Usually this is the flow. Okay, you start, and after that you can go to the Nordic questionnaire or CMDQ questionnaire, to really see which part of the body actually, which part of the body actually facing the musculoskeletal disorder or some kind of like a discomfort. Okay, and then based on the body part that, for example, your race is, most of the participants, let's say you have 30 participants, and then those participants are facing, you know, some kind of like problems with the race and so on, because the race is actually the body part that you feel it's actually uncomfortable. Then you can see what happened, you know, what happened. Then you can do this one, you know, some kind of like postural analysis, okay, using the RULA, the RIBA, NIOS, RWL, and other studies. But in this class, perhaps just use RULA or RIBA, you know, actually fine. I already uploaded the RULA and RIBA's videos, you know, in the Blackboard. You can check. It's actually for next week. Okay, but today is actually introductory, but a, you know, big scale of introduction. Okay. And then we calculate the risk level of the musculoskeletal disorder. Let's say your RULA score, your RIBA score is high, you know, then what will happen if you have the high RULA score and high RIBA score? And after that, you can check, you know, can the risk be accepted or not? You know, if no, then you know, then we need to do the ergonomics interventions. Okay, if the risk can be accepted, okay, and there is no more extra work or no more extra tasks, then you can just finish the study. What it means with this one, okay, for example, let's see, for example, the task of the garbage collector, okay, the basura truck, okay. So you know, you need to get the you know, the trash, you need to leave, and after you need to throw inside of the truck, you know, and so on. So how many tasks you would like to do? Lifting, perhaps, you know, that's one. The other one is like throwing to the truck, perhaps 2 tasks. Or if you want to add another task, the 3 tasks, then you can have the 3 scores for this one, this one. So there will be 3 scores for RULA, 3 scores for RIBA, and so on. So this one is actually based on the how many tasks you do and how many pictures you do it in you know, to perform a certain task. But don't worry, this one is actually, I would like to talk in details next week. Okay. Okay. Then we can have, for example, this one. This is actually in a study in a slaughterhouse. Look at this one. There are so many tasks. You know, for example, you know, truck loading. You know, and then cleaning. You know, cleaning chicken leg. You know, and then cleaning whatever. You know, packing and so on. So this is actually the task, okay, that they define during you know what, this one during the what kind of tasks that need to be evaluated. But of course not this many, you know, this is actually a journal publication. You can just do like up to you, 2 tasks, 3 tasks, you know, more than enough for me. And perhaps the participants 20 is actually okay, you know, 20 or 30 participants usually is already okay. Okay. If you would like to choose this topic as your final project, okay. Then you calculate the RULA, RIBA, and basically from the RULA and RIBA, you can get the score, okay, directly about the score in here. The form already uploaded, so you can try. For example, participant number 1, the picture, you kind of predict, you know, participant number 1 with the picture. Oh, okay, this is actually the score for the neck, the trunk, the leg, and so on. And after that, later on, you know, this table, the Excel file that I already uploaded in the Blackboard, you know, later on you can get the RULA risk or the RIBA risk, you know, in here, and you can see whether it is high risk or low risk. Okay. 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 And then can risk be accepted or not, and then you can need to perhaps you can do a certain of intervention, and that will be fine. Okay. Oh, if you can have a flow of the task, then that will be also great. The flow of the task, that will be also great. For example, this is actually another flow that perhaps will be useful, but this is actually PhD level, so no need to be like these details. Okay, I'm not expecting anyone to do up to these details. Okay. Hey, this one is the MSG prevalence. You know, you can see. Okay, for example, the neck, the shoulder, upper back, lower back, elbow, hands, and so on. Okay. Basically, this one, let's say you have 30 participants, you ask them actually using the CMDQ questionnaire or using Nordic questionnaire, which of the body part they got injured the most. The question is like this one. Let's say the Nordic, this one. Yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. For example, do you have you know, such a pain, discomfort on the neck, shoulder, upper back, elbow, wrist, you know, and so on. So you perform this kind of task to identify which part of the body, you know, they actually, most of the workers are facing the which problems, okay. And then you can perform this kind of the postural analysis to do the ergonomics intervention. Basically it's just like that one. Okay. So but nowadays, the ergonomics is actually very advanced. We have the HMD. Actually, that this is especially during this COVID-19. The utilization of the this device. The top devices like this one. It's just it becomes what ubiquitous, right? So this one is just become a very common thing. And then yeah, basically it's just like a more advanced method in the ergo and physical ergo. Oh, this one is actually another one. Okay, the thing that you just know. Okay, I just introduced to everyone that in physical ergonomics, okay, there are two things, okay, with equipment or without equipment. Okay, in physical ergo, with equipment is actually like this one. Without equipment is the postural analysis. For this one, these things, it's actually you don't need to add any kind of equipment, any equipment for conducting the study. But this one, okay, when I was in the PhD, I also conducted like this one, and usually I don't know, that my professor always just like, oh, who will be the model today? Oh, Yogi again. Yogi again. So my body got attached like this one. We call it marker, okay, for the 3D body. I would say that 3D body analysis, okay, with the motion capture. And then this is actually, we call it EMG. Okay, EMG is actually for analyzing the muscle activation. It's actually for example, okay, this one is actually perhaps this is actually latissimus dorsi. Okay, this is actually the muscle in here. You would like to see the activation of a certain muscle if you perform a certain task. Okay. So, and this one is actually also EMG. Okay, this is the surface EMG to detect the muscle activation. Okay, and this one you can get the skin conductance and also the heart rate. Okay, the heart rate variability. The heart rate. But now, even now, the how is it that this one the smartwatch. Okay, my smartwatch is active too. Okay, it also can detect, right, your HRV. So this is actually another one for the thing that you can do for the physical ergo. But I'm not telling in details for this one, because if I would like to tell in details, is this one perhaps that is a PhD level. Okay, another one, there is a force split. Force split is like this one. It's actually to see your this one. This is force split. So later on you can see how big it is, the force, the ground reaction force, in this kind of setting. So later on you can see, and I have three, this one, two, three. I have, this is actually the force splits. This is the 3D motion capture. But that time I just tried this one, first, because before attaching the marker in my body for the analysis. But I'm just opening your knowledge about the physical ergo, that it can be without equipment or with equipment. This is the without equipment will be like this one, and then with equipment it will be like this one. Okay, up to here. Any questions for the physical ergonomics, or for those people who want to choose the physical ergonomics as the how is that, as the final exam? Any questions?
So far, none.
Really clear? Yeah, so far okay. Any, what about what happened? Okay, you can for example, if you too shy to say something, you can chat. Okay, I will how is it that I will reply, because it's funny sometimes the students like, Paul, I'm quite shy in the class. I'm like, oh my god, you're shy in the class, what happened? And they're like, oh, okay, just chat. I say like that. Okay, next. I go to the second one. We call it cognitive ergonomics. Okay, again, today is the introductory, the introduction for the whole three main domains of ergo. Okay, so I don't want later on students in my class say ergo is only about the chair and then the posture. Okay, I will be like, then you know nothing about what is ergo. So I go to the second one. This is close to the psychology, but or close to the, yeah, usually close to the psychology. Okay. This is the cognitive ergonomics. So that's why, later on, if your BS is actually from psychology, perhaps say, oh yeah, we also do that thing, in your BS. Okay. So we deal with the cognitive differences and limitations. Okay, the cognitive differences and limitations, and usually cognitive ergonomics is something above the head. Okay, so your brain wave, your mental workload, your eye movement, the movement of the eye. Okay, is actually some of the good topics in the cognitive ergonomics. But I know those things, it requires equipment, so you don't need to go to that far. Anyway, let me give you an example of the cognitive ergonomics, or we can go to the first thing. Look at this one, the symbol. Okay, can I ask someone what is the meaning of RM? RM, you don't know, right? You don't know what is RM, right? And then yeah, you don't know, right? This one, right? The symbol, right? Okay. Or the first time when I came to the first time when I came, to, let's say, to Thailand. Okay, the first time when I came to Thailand, do you notice that the symbol in the traffic, the traffic icon is actually written in Thai? You know, the symbol, is written in Thai. For example, stop. It's not stop, STOP in English. It's actually in another in the Thai language, and I was like, oh, what's that? So this is the thing, a possible, possible encounter that you can see. It's actually, this one is people dealing with the icon. Icon is actually one of the topics that in the cognitive ergonomics, especially in a human-computer interaction. Now, now, okay, let me give you an example. Okay, let me give you an example. Look at this one. If your BS is actually about design, okay, usually people from the design, industrial design, they also talk about this one. Look at this one. Look at this icon. If I remove this one, this one, electrical, blah blah blah, do you think people will know that this one is electrical engineering?
No.
Can I ask?
Probably not.
Probably yes, probably not, right? Okay, okay. Now, okay, nowadays people are kind of like, oh, okay. Then what about okay, let me show everyone, okay? This one. This one. If you go to Thailand, will you understand this one? Will you understand this one? I don't know if someone learned Thai, okay, but
No.
if you, no, I mean, if you read this one, will you understand what's that mean?
No.
No, right? No, right?
Definitely not.
Definitely not, right? That's another issue, right? Okay. But this one, yes, of course, because there's an English, or like, these things, we actually learned this one in the cognitive ergonomics. Okay, I will talk about the visual display in 3 weeks from now, so we can talk about this one. But in the Philippines, it's actually this one. It's actually this one. Don't you think that this one is weird? It sounds like Chinese. Patching. What? It sounds like Chinese, diba? Like,
yes.
like patching. Like,
But
what is
because
the
of
meaning of patching? Like a pet? It's a pet, dog, or what? Okay, this
I
one
thought
is,
it was a Chinese restaurant before.
yeah, right. That's why, right? But when people put it this one, like, there is a big problem too. If you put it this one, what will happen with this one? The problem is, if you make it this one, you will spend costs more. You have to make extra, an additional extra icon, right? And it costs a lot of money, for this. Can you imagine, if the whole Philippines with this pet thing, and then you add this one, people will say like, oh yeah, this one is actually a better icon. Hey, you know what? The problem is this one. If this is the problem, then, for example, Will you understand if I just show this one without the patching? Probably yes.
Yes.
Probably yes. See,
Yes.
then why? Why you make it like this one? Is it wasting political money or what? Okay, it's just joke. Okay, it's joke. But anyway, look at this one. It's very weird, right? This one. Don't you realize? Those things we learn in ergonomics. Okay, so ergonomics is not just about the chair. Okay, let's go back to the my PPT. Okay, let me continue. Let me continue, everyone. Okay. And then, as you can see, you know, in the Taal, I published one paper about Taal, and now I would like to continue that. Look at this one. There are so many icons, right, in here, right, that perhaps that the people can go to this one. But the thing in the Philippines is always combined. Combined, it means like the picture, and then the other one is actually the word. So the graphical combined with the word, we call it combined. Combined icon. You know, this is actually the common thing in the Philippines. Okay. For example, now, if you would like to talk about the design, aesthetic, okay? Actually, people from industrial design, they always say like, oh yeah, IE people, you know, they are blah, 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 and so on. Hey, you know, come to talk with me, you know, industrial design people. I also can do more comprehensive study, you know. For example, this is tsunami warning. Do you like this, or this one? Or this, which one you like? All is actually possible, diba? Everything in here. It's possible to describe about the tsunami, but which one is actually you like the most?
The
See?
one with the yes.
Which one? If you make it like this one, you know, for me, you know, my cognitive, okay, I will think that this one is a cute, you know, wind or like a, you know, so on. But if you make it like this one, then this one I will feel like, oh yeah, this is actually for me. It's a little bit tsunami, like more close to tsunami. Or but this one is just a house. I like someone running like this one. It's actually much better. Okay, someone running like this one, or like see, even only the symbol, you know, like this one. We studied that in the visual display. Visual display. We studied that one in the cognitive ergonomics. Okay. Okay, the same with for Muslims in perhaps I have some students too from Mindanao. Can you see that you know, for those actually for the food product, the icon of halal, there are so many, you know, if you go to Mindanao, there are so many styles of the, you know, for the Muslims, the style of this one. Which one is actually more beautiful? See, this is the thing that we also study in consumer behavior related to the cognitive ergonomics. Okay. Okay, I'm just opening your horizons, okay, about what is ergonomics. And this one I would like to talk another topic. We call it learning curve. Okay, learning curve. Okay, okay, this is actually the learning curve for the dental, for the dentist. Okay, up to certain time, you know what, a new dental student will be exactly as the same, you know, as good as their professors. Okay, as good as they were, but to after a certain trials. Okay, look at that one. At the beginning, it takes a lot of time for them to finish the work, but up to certain time, it will be like, you know, like flattening like this one, and they will get closer, even closer, or the same. No significant difference with them and also their professors. Okay, so this is also very important if you have workers in your business. Okay, if you keep kicking out people, if you keep recruiting new people, it takes a lot of time for them to learn again, for starting from the beginning. Okay, they have to learn this one, they have to learn that one. That's why, you know, the learning curve is very important in the human resource. Okay, because, you know, the more experience, you know, the more time the people spend in your workplace, you know, the work of productivity is actually will be high, or exactly as close as the dean, or as your manager, as the supervisor, because someone already, you know, spend time. But this one is actually only for one task. Okay, only doing one task. But of course, we can compare if someone does different tasks. Okay, different tasks. For example, if you do a parking, you know, when you the first time when you learn how to drive, remember everyone, it's scary, right? That you park your car I still remember like when I was in high school. Yeah, I learned driving like when I was in high school, and then I was kind of like nervous and starting like and it took me quite long, you know, for really to park in my garage. Okay, but now yeah, I can just park it like quite, you know, quite quick. That is that we call it because of the learning curve. Learning curve. You know, we have the learning curve, and learning curve is important for the human resource management. Okay, so if you keep kicking out, if you kick, you know, new people come, you kick out, new people come, you kick out, and so on, you know, then there is a problem with this one, you know, with the learning curve. Okay. Oh, I will talk about this one. This is very difficult, but anyway, perhaps all of you. Okay, let's say, okay, all of you. uh, Imagine if all of you are the jeepney drivers. Okay, imagine all of your jeepney drivers. Okay, which one you think is more difficult? Which one you think? Okay, this is just my personal opinion. Okay, because when you I feel sad with the jeepney drivers. Do you know why? Can you imagine they have to drive, they have to count the money, they have to stop, they have to, you know, give the exchange and so on, you know. Can you imagine the mental workload of the jeepney driver, you know? If you compare with the pilot when they use the autopilot, you know, somewhere, and they're just like, oh, you know, you know, during my last flight for Dubai, no, Manila to Dubai, I forget. Oh, I forget. You know, I went to see. I would like to see, you know, the working space of the pilot during the autopilot, and they're just drinking coffee. You know, the pilot, you know, with the co-pilot, they're just gossiping and so on, and then like they're just talking. I mean, they do nothing when they're on the top. But for the takeoff and landing, it's actually the scary thing. For it's not scary. I would say like it's actually the time for them to really put their focus. But can you imagine the jeepney driver? All the time, you know, can you imagine from morning to evening and then to stop and so on, you know, you know, when I took the jeepney, you know, when I felt like, wow, it's very sad, you know, they you know, it's only 10 pesos and you have to, you know, the safety and so on, you know. And what I'm mentioning in here, that's what I call mental workload. Okay, the term is what I call mental workload. Okay, this one, mental workload. Okay, for example, this is actually I would say that if you go to the hospital, okay, you go to the dentist, let's say dentist, okay, because every 6 months you need to go to the dentist, and this is a challenging period if you go to the dentist during the COVID-19. Okay, but they are, it's okay, you know, they use the personal very nice personal protective equipment and so on. Okay, imagine, you know what, I had a dental surgery. It took me 2 hours, you know, the third molar in here, you know, and so on, you know, it took me 2 hours. Okay, the surgeon, dental surgeon. Okay, and then if you just go to the dentist only for scaling, okay, let's say, okay, during 2 hours you do scaling, you do exactly just scaling, normal scaling to 20 people, and then perhaps, you know, the mental workload doing scaling of 20 people perhaps is just the same with doing surgery of 1 people. Perhaps, you know, I don't know, we haven't counted, but I just would like to tell all of you the concept of the mental workload. Okay, the workload, you feel, oh, this job is so difficult because, like, for example, my workload, you know, or the workload of the dean, you know, I don't know, I would like to compare, you know, my workload with the dean. Yeah. I would like to see, and let's see which one is higher, my mental workload or his mental workload. Okay, doing in the school. So mental workload, okay, we can measure it. Okay, we can measure it by this one. This is what we call NASA TLX. We can measure, there are so many ways, but the one that I would like to show to everyone is actually this one, NASA TLX. Okay, NASA TLX is actually consists of these 6 dimensions: mental demand, physical demand, temporal demand, effort, performance, and frustration level. But don't worry, I will tell in details about this one hopefully next 2 weeks. Okay, I just would like to give you an introduction that you cannot, for example, oh yeah, his job is easy, you know, he only has 1 job. I have 6, you know, he only has 1 task. I have 6 tasks, but perhaps 1 task, the mental workload of doing 1 task is high compared to doing 6 tasks, but it's just the mental workload is just small. Everyone, do you get the sense what I'm talking about the mental workload?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
don't you feel sad for, I mean, you drive by yourself, it's mahirap, right? Can you imagine you have to drive, you have to count how many people on your back, you have to count to give the money and so on. So that's why when I feel like, oh my God, this is a very sad job, you know, for the jeepney driver. Okay. So
Mental math while driving.
yeah, can you imagine, you know, with the you know, road from, let's say from my house in Ermita to you know, you go to where, Makati on the Friday evening, traffic 2 hours, and then, you know, you have to count the money and so on, you know. It's very sad, you know, when I see that one, because I know Ergo, not just about the physical Ergo, like, oh, the working space is friendly, the vibration and so on, but there is a mental workload that it's quite challenging for you know, those people. Okay, everybody got the concept, right? Okay, now for example, okay, this is no need to tell this one, but anyway, this is the equipment that Mapua will buy hopefully next 2 years, but now we don't buy it because it's still COVID. We cannot conduct this kind of study. It costs 1 million pesos, you know, this equipment. This is actually eye tracker. It's actually, it can detect your eye behavior in the website, sorry, in the display. So later on, this equipment, you know, it can, you know, be very useful for the website promotion. For example, in your website, in which place you should put the promotion, you know, for example, like Philippine Airlines, you know, which one, you know, which location you put that one. Is actually, you can see from the eye, you know, eye behavior or eye movement. Okay. But eye behavior nowadays, it can be related to the medical. Okay. Someone who has a mental disorder or someone who has a stress, you know, you can see from the eyes actually from this equipment, you know, we can detect it, you know, from this equipment anyway. Okay. I just would like to tell everyone that we will buy this kind of equipment. Now we go to the third domain. Okay, this is the thing that I like, and I know everybody will like this domain because this domain is actually very close to all of you. Okay, the third domain, we call it macroeconomics. Okay, for example, do you like this company? You know, should I stay in this company? Should I get out from this company? You know, this company and so on. It's actually, we study those things in macroeconomics. Okay, like human resource is actually a part of the macroeconomics. Okay, but macroeconomics does not talk about just about the company only. It talks about the accident analysis. We also talk about it in here. Anyway, see, look at this one. Turnover intention. Okay, I believe that all of you have some kind of like a turnover intention. Okay, like, oh, the other companies is actually perhaps better. Other, you know, places, you know, offer better incentive and so on. So you can analyze what kind of factors influencing your commitment to your workplace environment, and then also that how it will lead to the organizational commitment and the turnover intention. Okay. Remember, the goal of ergonomics is what? Enhance the productivity, the safety, and also what the last one? Well-being, right? We talk about well-being and satisfaction. So if there is a well-being problem, then there is an ergo problem. The same with the jeepney. As long as they have a well-being problem, then there is an ergo problem inside of that. We can always do something ergo things inside of that one. Okay, so remember, we also see this thing, job satisfaction. Okay, so macroeconomics is human with the organizational, human with the socio-technical system. Remember, physical ergo is the physical, you know, you see from the outside, you know, the physical, the interaction, human with the machine, human with tools, human with the equipment, and so on. That is what we call physical ergo. Okay, cognitive ergo, like how the cognitive process in here, you know, above the neck, you know, you see like mental workload, the learning curve, you know, and then perhaps the eye movement, visual icon, you know, the visual display. That is also about the cognitive ergonomics. Lastly, we talk about macroeconomics, the human and the socio-technical system, human with the organizational. Okay, you and your company, that's what I call macroeconomics. Okay, me with Mapua University, it's macroeconomics. Okay, Don't worry, this is the thing that you like. I will talk about this one first next week. I know everybody will like this topic, okay? And so on. See, this is about the socio-technical system, okay? You can see human as the center of the tools, environment, organizational, job design, and so on. So you can see that those things, human as the center of the socio-technical system. Okay. Now, this is actually some kind of like intervention, okay, perhaps that you can see. Later on, I will explain about job enrichment, job enlargement, and then job rotation. I don't know. Usually, you know what, based on my experiences, you know, every time when I explain about job design, there are two students, you know, change company after attending my class. Okay, I hope that for this year, there will not be that kind of students, you know, because when, you know, I'm sharing things, it's actually about the knowledge, but that knowledge triggers some of my students to like, oh yeah, I need to get out from this company because I know about the job design. Okay, and they know about job design, and then they decided to like, oh, okay, perhaps this company is not, the job design is actually not good, okay, and so on. Usually it's very funny, you know, every time when I explain this one, two students, you know, change the job usually. But I will explain this one next week. Okay, we will talk about it next week because it's usually very hot topic for everyone in the MEDIE. Okay, this one is actually the effect of job rotation to the job satisfaction and organizational commitment. And then perhaps the job itself, there is a stress, so they would like to see the connection in the organizational commitment. So, okay. Okay, this one, there is a fatigue symptoms, job stress, and to the turnover intention, job satisfaction. You know, you would like to see how it can affect each other. And how we measure this one is actually by questionnaire. Okay, so for those who would like to you know, for those who would like to choose this topic, okay, this kind of topic, later on, perhaps you can conduct interview or you can conduct data collection. But this one, the data collection for this kind of analysis, you need many, you know, many respondents for this kind of analysis. If it's not that many, we can just do like some kind of like interview or like yeah, the one that I uploaded in the Blackboard, the one that utilized macroeconomics study, it's actually about interview of the job training in her company. So from 9, I forget, from 9, how many left from the, I don't know, only 3 or 4, I don't know. So she would like to analyze why is that one, you know, what happened with those people suddenly disappear during the training of 1-year training. Okay, and then we also talk about this one, see, turnover intention, right? There is a compensation, there is work pressure, there is work satisfaction, organizational commitment, and then external work opportunity. See, these things actually will lead someone to the turnover intention. Okay. Okay. And then we also talk about the promotion, but this is actually consumer behavior. Okay, consumer behavior is a part of the macroeconomics. Okay, so for example, when someone say like, oh, Dr. Yogi's publication these days is more related to consumer behavior, that's not Ergo. Hey, it's still Ergo, but yeah, it's actually Macroergo. One small part of Macroergo is actually the consumer behavior. Okay. Oh, we also talk about the safety culture. Okay, if your company is actually manufacturing company, usually safety culture is an important issue. You know, if in your company about the safety climate and safety culture. This is also in macroeconomics. Okay, you know, for example, you can see like there is the peer group attitude. You know, engagement in health and safety. You know, and then, you know, is there a accident and near miss reporting? You know, in your company, these things are very important. You know, for example, one student, I don't want to mention the name because the student is here, actually analyzed how is it that a pattern accident in her company. Okay, X company. Okay, and then she utilized Ergo tools to really highlight what factors contributing to that accident. Okay, or what kind of people, or you can see what kind of person that has perhaps, you know, it leads to that accident. Let me show it to you. Next one. If you have the accident, okay, you have to report this one, right? The age, the gender, is it the morning shift or the second shift or the third shift, and so on. So the data is actually one case. Usually you describe it in one paragraph. Or so no, one big paragraph or big article, okay, and you have to code it. You need to quote those things, but I don't know, usually perhaps in the Philippines, when there is an accident, the company tries to, to hide it from the Ministry of Labor and so on. Is it true? I think yes.
Depends on the company. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, usually, when you have a accident, someone fall from the construction, imagine, when I studied PhD in Taiwan, every day, that time my professor forced me to read 300 death cases. It's death cases, from the fatal fall in the construction. So someone fall from 60th floor, and then, when you read that one, is so scary, although without picture, you can see the statement like the head split, and the body. Oh, like I read those things and I need to quote, one by one, because my professor wanted me to see the pattern, what happened, before, because we can do some kind of like prevention measure. So I dummy coded like this one by one. See, and the activity during accident, I coded, we coded using dummy code, in the, and we see the statistical analysis later on. Okay, so later on, if you have this kind of accident data in your company, don't just the accident data just become the accident data and just report data, and I mean, nothing intervention and so on, that's why usually the company is like that. But if you go in this class, you can say to your supervisor, oh, excuse me, I think I can do some kind of like accident analysis, what happened. But of course we will make sure the confidential, okay, of the person and so on. Usually the accident report, there is a name, but later on you need to remove the person's names, okay. And then you can later on you can see something like this one. This is actually making something qualitative into quantitative. That is another beauty of ergonomics. Okay, for example, when I see some kind of like a accident report, there was the challenge that me with my professor, usually people from industry, they say, oh yeah, academicians, you cannot do anything. I'm like, we can do so many things, academicians. It's just we don't have the chance to see the data. But when I see the data, I'm like, hey, academicians can do so many things, for the people in the industry. So that's why I came up with this one, the pattern, what happened in your company. And I can tell you what you need to be careful. Look at this one. I found something very unique. Okay, so for example, later on, the tenor, okay, the tenor is actually this one. You have 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the tenor. There is a relationship between the tenor and the direct. Sorry, this is actually the direct cost. The direct cost. The direct cost. Let's see. What's the direct cost? Now this one. There is a connection between the tenor and the direct cost. But which tenor and then which direct cost is actually have a connection, I don't show in this one. I don't show in this table. But you can see that someone, this one, I remember, someone, the first one, 12 months, less than 12 months. I remember usually, okay, usually from someone 12 months, they actually this one, stepping on, striking against, or struck between by object excluding, or struck by falling object. So someone, the new employees, they have to be careful with struck by falling object and stepping on, striking against, or blah blah blah. So this has a connection. Okay, another one that I figured it out. Look at this one. This one, employee status, regular, probationary, and third party. Is there connection? This one, is there a connection? The new employee with the accident, the type of accident. Let's see. Employee status, employee type. Okay, employee type. There is a connection of employee type with this one. See, with the agent of injury. The employee type with the agent of injury. What kind of agent of injury? I remember the new employee type, they always be, there is a connection with the chemical. The employee type, the new one, the probationary on the third party, there is a connection with the, I don't show in the this one. Actually, I have a bigger, the next one, the next table, but there's connection between the new people, people in that company, okay, with the chemical. So people, the new people in the company, be careful the chemical things. People always think like, oh yeah, this is the machine and so on, but there is a small of the chemicals that actually can lead them to the how we say that, to the injury. This is actually, I did an injury. Okay, injury. I analyzed 185 cases. Okay, so I read one by one, and one is actually, there is a the body, the body that they got amputations, see, traumatic amputations. There is one or two cases actually, the lost the hand. This is the company in the Philippines. Okay. That's the thing. We also talk about safety, and it's actually the things in the macroeconomics. Okay, so how many hours I have left? Perhaps oh wait for a while. I still have okay. I still have many time to for the class. So everyone, what do you think about ergonomics up to here before I continue the next one? Example, the thing that I've done. What do you think about ergo? Now, any comments? You can type anything. I would like to see your feedback. I want to hear. Then let me go to
Yes, sir.
let me go to
Yes, sir. Dr.
yes, what
Yogi.
happened? Yes.
Yeah, this is Vicky. I just
Yes.
yeah, probably I just want to think about what you have mentioned about the workload, the mental workload. Was it because of the skill set of a person? That's why they said that they will be mentally workload on a certain item. Because I remember one time I was in our clinic, and the doctor was very amazed on how we do our Excel file, and she said that if I will be doing that, I will be stressed or I cannot do that. But actually, if I look at her, I said I cannot do also your job. Meaning, for me, it's easy. The Excel file is very easy because I know that. But her perception is that is a lot of work to do. I cannot do that, something. Probably because
Yes.
of skill set and
That's
what
a mental
really
workload.
having.
That's the mental workload. Remember, Mom Vicky, the first time when you do that, the first time when you do the Excel and so things, it's difficult, right? Remember? Yeah. But
Mhm.
after, remember the learning curve, up to years of you become so professional doing that one. And you will think like, oh, doing that one is easy. The same with that, with for me, for example, oh, doing research is the thing, is my job. But for someone, oh, writing one paper is scary. Like writing one thesis is like, oh, like so the same thing. The same thing is, if you measure my mental workload doing a research, and if you measure the undergraduate student doing the mental workload, that's the thing that what happened. So that's why sometimes I just laugh, and sometimes looking at the undergraduate students like, oh sir, it's still mahira, blah blah blah. And I just laugh. I'm like, oh, it's not easy. I would say like, it's okay for me. I will not become stressed because of that one. So the same thing.
Yeah, in Filipino we call that CCU.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. The same thing is the mental workload. Okay, we get used to it. For example, like everyone in here, all of you will write the capstone, and you will perhaps you feel scared. Capstone, oh, difficult. Like, what should I write? How can I graduate from master degree and so on? But for me, hey, you know what? If you count capstone in 1 month, how many capstone? how many capstone that I do in 1 month? So the same thing. Okay. It is much okay. Let me check the chat. There's somebody here. Okay, it is much than usual ergonomic discussed in the manufacturing place. Yes, of course, boring things. People usually talk about the chair, about the what, and so on. I will talk about the safety icons in the manufacturing too. So later on, if you see like, oh, sir, this icon is weird. The safety icons. I will show you the weird safety icons that you cannot even recognize. What is the meaning of that one? Okay. Okay. A lot of options, sirs, from each ergo domain. Hope to learn. Yeah. Very interesting and helpful topics. Okay. Mainly think the physical aspect of it. Now, if it's very interesting. Yes. It's very broad, ergo, even up until now, I still trying to learn, master all the things in ergonomics. Okay. Okay, now I go to the some practical, okay, some practical things that I've done these days, okay, about in cognitive and macro, because in physical it's mahirap kasi it's COVID-19, right? You need to get the data. If I would like to put the sensor, it's difficult, and I don't want to do the postural analysis usually for me. I'm more interested in cognitive and macro these days. Actually, I'm interested too in the physical, but these days I go to the cognitive and also macroeconomics more. Let's talk about this one. Okay, this is just recently got published. Okay, look at this one, the COVID-19. When you see this one, there is what? Icon, diba? Look at that one. There's always icon every time when you would like to tell about the prevention measures. Okay, in the COVID-19, they always have the infographic like this one. Okay, infographic like this one. But if I erase these things, will you understand what is this? Perhaps. What is this one? Can I talk, Vicky? What do you think about this one? What is it about?
It's just a house, and what will you do in the house?
Okay, now I ask Sir Eric. Sir Eric, what do you think about this one? what comes in your mind? I would like to see. I would like to know what happened. If you look at this one.
Maybe somebody inside the house and he's angry.
Bakit angry? Why?
Exclamation point, probably
Oh,
shouting.
okay. Interesting. Can I ask Sir Bernard what happened if you see this one? That's very interesting, I would say. Sir Bernard, can I see, or like can I ask another person? If Tina, what's your comment if you see this one? What happened?
Same as actually Sir Eric.
Okay.
It seems someone's mad.
Ma'am Ana, there is a bomb inside the house. Very interesting. See, it's interesting, diba? Look at this one. Only looking at this one, all of you have a different perceptions, I think that's very interesting. Wow, I like this class of a sudden, someone dropped something or bumped his hip. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is actually very, very interesting data. For me, if I see this one, if I don't, and if there is no such like COVID-19 or so on, this one I would feel like someone is actually in my brain. Okay, I would say that this one, someone dangerous, and it's actually being isolated, something like that one. If I see this one, not necessarily COVID, but if there is no such thing in like that, I would say that this one is yeah. But there is a bomb. There is that's interesting. Like like angry and so I don't know what all of you are thinking. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Look at this one. The beauty. Okay. For okay. This one. Okay. If I this one. Okay. What happened if there is no Filipino words in here? What do you think about this? What do you think about this icon? This one, okay, what happened with this one?
Sneezing.
Sneezing. Okay. Anything else?
Stomach ache.
Tummy ache.
Stomach ache.
Stomach
Yeah,
ache.
same. I also feel like stomach ache. Yeah. Diba? Look at that one. And look at this one. Why this is a pig and chicken? Don't you think this is funny?
Contact sa bahay.
Kasi
Vegetarian.
bakit is pig? Kasi
Vegetarian.
there's vegetarian. Yeah. Another one is vegetarian. Another one in my brain. This one is vegetarian.
No pets allowed.
Yeah. No pets allowed.
No
It's
pets
actually
allowed.
also no pets allowed. It's actually possible. See?
But farm animals.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone, no meat. So, yeah, don't eat meat. And then but okay. Anyway. Now, if you go to your company, okay, if there is a symbol of your company, you can give a comment. Now, like, oh, this is weird. I'm like, in my brain, it's not like that. You can tell to people like to really redesign, what you think about this one. Okay, what do you think about this one? And my study, okay, this study I just recently published. Okay, let me show it to everyone. Okay, my study, okay, just recently got published. No, it's actually last night. Okay, last night. Actually, this one, this study, yeah, my journal. Okay, there are so many icons only for representing one. Actually, I would like to see, you know what, which icon that you like the most among those. I would say that, among those icons, which one actually you like the most. Let's say, which function that you like the most. Everyone, can you select one? For example, let's say this one. Let's say this one. Consult doctors and seek medical help. Okay. So the rank one, the best one from 50, I recruited 57 participants. This is the best one. The best icon, you know, that people like the most is actually this one. Look at this one. Isn't it weird? This one, only icon like this one, and you consult doctor, only phone like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
right?
be texting.
It's very like texting or whatever. And if you see this one, you see like what? For me, it's like Japanese chef. For me, it's like Japanese sushi chef, isn't it? Yeah, right. It makes sense, diba? If people don't like this one, these two, it makes sense, right? So later on, you know, you can compare. For example, like in your company, you would like to put the icon and so on. You can compare some existing and which one is actually the best. You know, you can recruit, let's say 20 people. You know, you rank number 1 to number 7. Which one is they like the most? And this is actually I know, like pinakamaganda. But like, look at this one. What is this one? Like phone? Like, it's weird, diba? And this is also weird for me. Like, oh yeah, it makes sense. People don't like this one. This is like Japanese sushi chef and so on. Okay. Okay, and then which one? Where else? Okay, it's actually quite interesting. Okay, there's so many things like quite interesting. For example, this one, fever, and then fever, and then look at this one. Only temperature like this one. This is pangit. For me, it's so ugly. You know, why this is fever?
Could be room temperature.
Yeah, can be room temperature, can be anything. Fever should be like, you know, there is a, you know, like this one, there's a hot things, you know, comes out and so on. Okay. So see, this is also ergonomics. Okay. For example, let's say the weird one. This is this is scary.
Touching face.
This is scary, you know, like the one eye, one nose, and then the lip. This is,
Creepy.
and then look at that one, creepy, right? Avoid touching face. That's not it. One eye, one nose, and avoid. There is no such avoid and so on. Yeah, right. It makes sense, diba? You know, that's why if if you would like to do this kind of study, okay, let's say, sir, can I do this kind of study for my project? Yes. For example, you collect, let's say you collect, but you cannot compare compare apple to the orange. You know, this is apple, this is orange. For example, you have to compare the same function, right? For example, avoid touching face. Yeah, you have to compare it with the avoid touching face. Okay, you cannot compare avoid touching face with us using sanitizer. Which one is better, this one or this one? It's not apple to apple. You know, you have to compare apple to apple. This is apple to apple. Yes, apple to apple, the same functions. Okay, for example, you know, you would like to see like, oh sir, my project, can I make a simple project? I have 4 functions, and then for one function I have 5 objects, and I would like to rank which one they like the most, so I can use it in my company. Yes, you can do it too, to really see the symbol. You know, this is just the COVID-19, how you say that, just for health communication. Can you imagine if this is the traffic sign? Can you imagine if traffic sign? Yes, if there is no accident, if someone die because of the wrong sign, can you imagine how scary it is? You know, doing ergo is sometimes it's not a joke. You know, when it comes to the safety. Okay, yes, this is just the COVID-19 prevention measures. But if you imagine the traffic icon or the safety icons in your company, and you don't know what it means, and people just like do it. For example, don't touch this, but there is no cross. There is no cross. So we people just touch it, you know, and then you die because of the electrocution and so on. It happens. It also happens, you know, and so things. Okay, this is so creepy, you know. This is scary. I don't like this one. That's why this is like the worst one. Yeah. And what is this? This is wash. This is wash clothes properly. But what do you think about this one?
See it.
Perhaps my brain is a little bit too wild, but I'm thinking something else, you know. Like, what is this? What? I'm like, it's very weird. Like, wash clothes, but this the symbol like this one is so pangit, you know. Like this
It's
one,
assuming you hang clothes.
yes, this one social distancing, but this one there is no. What is this one, dancing or what? This one like social distancing, but you make like this one. What happened with this? You dance together with someone touching like that one. Yeah, right. It makes sense, diba? Like this is people don't like, and people like this one the most. Yeah, this is good. I think this is also good too. This is also good. Yeah, but yeah, this I like this too actually for me. It makes sense that this is the result from 57 participants. It makes sense. The result makes sense, diba? Like you know, ergo is always about it makes sense or not. You know, this is makes sense. Okay, use your sense to use this kind of thing. Okay, let me finish. Okay, we still have many things. Wait, let me check the time.
Hey, sir, just a quick question.
Uh-oh.
Like for the icons, I read a news about Google making everything the same in terms of their icons, and
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
reacted
yeah,
because you can't really
yeah,
distinguish the mail
yeah,
versus
yeah,
the calendar. And it does fall under this type, right? I mean, you can't distinguish things when they change it.
yeah. Do you
It
like it or
wasn't a
not?
good call.
Do
No.
you like it or not? No, right? You get confused, right? Because it looks the same. Diba? Everything,
Yes.
it looks the same, right? If you Google it, I can show it to you next 2 weeks, because next 2 weeks we will talk about visual displays. I will talk in details about that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the I analyzed 133. I like this icon. Do you know why this icon? It's like there is cross, there is no this one, because I like traveling. And look at the face of the person. It's sad. It's like me nowadays. Like I cannot travel because I like traveling. I like diving. I cannot travel. And then when I look at this icon, you know, the way I got the idea, you know, ergo, you don't need to think too much. Ergo is human about people. You can get the idea from anywhere. Now I challenge all of you. Do you understand all the icon in your car? Now go to your car. Look at all the icon inside of the car. Do you understand all of the functions there?
No.
Yeah. It's ergo problem, diba? There's so many icons in your car. If you don't know about that, that is an ergo issue. Yes, that's another ergo issue. You know, you don't need to think too much about, oh, ergo is difficult. I have to think about what topic should I do and so on. You know, no. Think
My
about
husband,
something.
yeah, my husband told me, don't touch it if you don't know what does it mean.
Diba? See, don't touch it now because you don't understand. What happened if the function of that one is you know, how to say that, water cannon. You can click like that's water cannon. See, don't touch it if you don't know it. But if you don't know it, then why is it there? You know, then there must be a problem. It's either the communication problem with the car company to you, or because of the cognitive process is it does not match with your brain. You know, because that's a ergo issue. Okay. For example, this one, okay, this is the another thing we can do. This is what we call the Kansei engineering. Kansei is actually effective, okay, effective design. When you see this one, what do you feel? You feel, is it likable, unlikable? This is, we call it semantic differential scales. We can do it, you know. Then later on, you will understand why people like this one. You know, this is number one, the best one among these 7. And the worst one is actually this one. Why people don't like this one? Because there is no color, only gray. You know, perhaps you can guess. You know, this is very clear, right? You know, the picture is nice. There is a bubble, and this is the dirty things. You know, drops, and there's a water flow. It's so maganda. You know, if you compare this one with this one, I still like this one for me. You know, if this is complicated for me, when it comes to complicated for me. You know, for example, this one perhaps I put it complex. You know, why I don't like this one? Perhaps, oh yeah, perhaps this is actually complex. It comes out in my brain that I perceive it as a little bit complex. Okay. Kansei engineering, you can do it when you are in the HR. If you are from people in the HR, when you know, people got a job because of the likability, usually most of the time, not because of the GPA, not because of the working experience, just because you like the person. I like this person. I want to work together with this person. It's the likability. The same with this one, diba? If you have seven people, you know, applying for one job, isn't it the same? You know, you do this one in the real life. That's exactly the same thing, but it's very harsh to, you know, to put human the same with the icon like this one. But I just giving the concept, you know, to everyone that people got hired in a job, you know, because perhaps it's the likability. You like the person, like I like it, you know, I like this person. Although the GPA is not that high, but although the working experience not that high, but when you do the interview with this person, you like the person. You like, oh, he has that kind of, for example, tough, you know, the affective that comes in your brain. It's like, oh, this person is tough, hardworking. I would say, oh, this person is you can see that, oh, this is a team player, you know, and so on. You know, you can see those things, you know, that's as the perceived quality. Okay, that's what I call the Kansi engine. Okay. Okay, this one, you can see, yeah, this is very weird. Yeah, I don't like this too. What is this? You know, like it does not make sense. Okay, don't worry about the statistical analysis and so on, you know, because this is a very personal or individual project. So case by case, okay, I will go case by case because not all students like to do these topics, okay? Some students, they like the physical topics. Some students, they like the macroeconomics because they want to deal with the company problem, like why I want to get it from this company, you know, and some problems, they like the visual display, you know, we can go. Don't worry about this one, okay? Don't worry about these statistical things, you know, okay? The thing about Ergo is the brain, the concept, not these things. You know, these things is I always can help you for this one, but the story is important. I like the story actually more, but mathematics is just explaining the story. You know, explaining why is that one, because I'm from academics. I have to prove it, or I have to make the mathematical equation or statistical analysis, you know, to show to the world that hey, you know, this is actually different. Yeah, just like this one, like I prove it to the world, right? This is pangit, right? I show it, you know, I show it to the world that these two are pangit, you know, this is actually pretty good. Same thing with this one. Okay, let me go with these things. We can do a topic related to the online learning platform, or we can do like any kind of a platform, any kind of a software application. That is actually another topic that perhaps you can use. For example, what kind of factors affecting someone to use the Grab application, to use the, you know, stay safe. You know, there is a new stay safe, right, application of the COVID-19 in the Philippines, you know, for the contact tracing. You know, what factors will affect someone to use, you know, that mobile application. Okay, you can use it with but of course you have to use some kind of questionnaire and so on. Okay. Oh, this is actually the thing that I conducted last year about the consumer behavior in the IE students. I would like to ask what kind of the learning program that the students like. Okay, because in here there are so many things, right? In the Mapua, you can see the Blackboard, the Zooms, asynchronous, synchronous, Microsoft Teams, you know, Coursera, and so on. There's so many things in Mapua. You got confused, you know, like and you know what? I show this one to the whole school, including the president, including the vice president, all the top management of the Mapua during the foundation week that time. But this is already published. You know, I just released last month. I published this one. That time I have the idea. I'm the same with all of you. Like you have the project, you have the idea, you show to your supervisor, and this is the improvement that you do. But the difference is like between me and perhaps all of you, I need to write it into a scientific paper. So I have to show to prove it that I do it in a scientific way and I publish it in a journal. So the journal just got published in this one. So I know all of you got confused, like, oh, there's so many things in Mapua. There's a work, this one homework, and so on. You know, so I do this kind of study. Okay, we call it the conjoint analysis to see what kind of the best combination that you like the most in the our learning management. Our online learning system. Okay, there is a synchronous. There is the modular, non-modular. What next? Bipolar. Bipolar, no, non-modular, non-modular. Okay, and you like what kind of final exam you like? You like multiple choice, you like essay, or you like one conference paper? You like Coursera, or you don't like it? You like SitWorks, and which platform you like? You like Zoom, Blackboard, Microsoft Teams, and so on. Okay, so I would like to see, you know, what kind of the best combination that you like the most. And later on, this is I collected it. Don't worry, okay? This is the technical things. I would explain this one in the next 4 weeks. I will explain this one in the consumer behavior is the module 2 actually. So later I will explain about this one. And I recruited, see, this one, BS, MEPIE, and then non-MEPIE program. So I would like to see, I split all of you into 3, okay, split into 3 cluster, right? For BS, MEPIE, and then non-MEPIE, MSIE, MSEM, and PhD. And you can see the different things, different pattern, you know. You know what? For BS, what they care the most, you know, this is actually the attributes that they care the most. Look at this one. They care the most of what? The final requirement. The final requirement. They do care about that. And then you can ask, what kind of final requirement they like? Look at that one. Final requirement. The positive one is multiple choice. Ooh, they like the multiple choice because in online they can copy paste, they can chat, they can what, you know, like especially these kind of things, you know. And then you know, the term style. They like what? They like non-modular. So modular make them bipolar. Okay. And the sit works and practice. Sit work practice. No sit works for. Yeah, of course. All of you, you don't want to do anything, you know. And then delivery type. What delivery type? They like mix. Mix is actually synchronous, and then I have to upload the recorded video they like the most. But if you ask them, they like synchronous or asynchronous? They like asynchronous. So what happened if you make it asynchronous and multiple choice? Wow, that's a perfect combo. So that's why when I tell to everyone, hey, you make asynchronous and then multiple choice, what will happen with our education system? You know, like that's why, you know, but this is the preference, right? But the preference, it does not mean that the school will say yes to all of this one, right? Of course, but I'm just showing that this is what the students want. Okay, but this is BS. Okay. Coursera, they don't like Coursera. They don't want to do anything like Coursera. And then online, what is one? Online platform, they like Blackboard interactive mode. Yeah, I don't know why they like Blackboard interactive. They don't like Zoom. They don't like MS Teams the most. Okay. And for the Blackboard, but this is not important. Like, this is very small. They don't really care this one the most. They do care about the final requirement the most. But this is all of you, okay? All of you, MEPIE. You care what the most? You care the most about the delivery type for the MEPI. Look at that one, 47%. It's actually you care the most for the delivery type. And what kind of delivery type you care the most? Look at this one. You like mix and you like asynchronous, because I know all of you are working, and then you would like to have a flexible learning time and so on. You know, that's the most important thing. So for the final exam, it's actually the 5th important for all of you. The final exam. It's like all of you can deal with the things, but you still like multiple choice. But sorry, in my class, you have to do the one conference paper, you know, so it will be like this one. But even so, you are still feel okay, you know, when you see this one, because the most, you look at that one, almost half. Most important for all of you is the delivery type. If you, I know all of you because I also have, I don't know, Tina is in Qatar, right? I also have someone in Oman, in, you know, so many places, you know, in Singapore and so on. So that's why they say like, sir, there is a time difference, you know, and sometimes when in the morning class, I have to wake up very early and so on. Oh, okay. So that's why the flexibility is important from MEPIE. And you like reportive is important. Sit work and practice, you don't like the sit work and practice, yeah, just like everyone else, you know. And then online platform, I don't know, they say Zoom is, all of you don't like Zoom. Is it most likely all of you don't like Zoom because it's a privacy issue and so on? Some students say it like that. Is it true? I think yes. Yeah, right. There's a privacy issue. There is I don't know. Some students, they say like during when I collected the data, some students say like, because I asked her, right, why you don't like Zoom? Oh, Paul, there is a privacy issue. Okay. Then okay, okay. So, but sorry, my class, I get used to the Zoom, then I just use Zoom. Okay. Okay, and this is for the non-MEPIE graduate program. They do care the most the final requirement. Okay, but they like the most. Look at them; they're so different. They want publication. They want, you know, because they are actually they care more about this one, the publication and so on. So if you compare the 3 markets, you know, for the online education, you can see the most important for DS is final exam, but multiple choice. But for MEPI, you care the most is actually delivery type, and you like mix. But if you choose between synchronous and asynchronous, you like synchronous, asynchronous, sorry. But different with this one, you know, for PhD, the same with my students, you know, if I make asynchronous, they will angry. They will say like, No, I want synchronous, for PhD program, for PhD because they need the direct interaction with me and so on. So that's why it's a little bit different. But with this one, see, you can see, right, the market that we also can do some kind of analysis in macroeconomics. That this is one topic that's possible. I'm going to show you another thing about the milk tea. Milk tea. When you buy milk tea later on, okay, another publication by me. And this is actually about the macroeconomics, perceived effectiveness of COVID-19 prevention measures. Another one, I also did some publications related to the disaster risk reduction. You can find it in Science Direct, actually. Okay, this one, my publication about COVID-19, okay? It's actually, I would like to see what factors will influence the perceived effectiveness. You feel, oh, the prevention measures is actually quite effective. It's actually, the mechanism is actually like this one. Okay, when you understand about COVID-19, okay, it triggers you to vulnerable and then severe. The things that when you know about COVID is like, oh, COVID, a Delta variant is so severe and so on. Hey, be careful with Delta variant, okay? I lost my uncle 2 weeks ago, last month because of the Delta variant. It's so scary. And many of them, my neighbors died because of the Delta variant. The spreading is so fast, okay, and the Delta variant, and then it goes to your some kind of like behavior, okay, some kind of behavior. It's actually healthy behavior. Then it goes to adaptive behavior and actual behavior, and eventually it goes to the perceived effectiveness. So later on, someone who understands about COVID-19 is actually there is a connection with the perceived effectiveness. So if someone they don't if someone does not believe with COVID-19, they don't feel severe, they don't feel vulnerable, okay, they don't feel vulnerable, they don't feel severe, and they don't do any kind of healthy behavior. That's why they don't feel like, oh, there is no point for me to follow that one. I don't believe with COVID. This is the mechanism actually what happened when someone don't believe, when someone does not believe with COVID-19. Yeah, Philippines is actually very we can collect many data. For example, I collect 649 data only 4 days in Facebook. Actually, that's actually quite fast, the questionnaire. Okay, so this is actually the one that I found. This is so complicated, diba, the mathematics, but the story is so simple. The story is just simple. It's just you understand COVID, then it goes to what? When you think about COVID, vulnerable and severe, and it goes to a certain theory. Sorry, a certain behavior. Okay, and this is actually the one that I talked about, macroergonomics. This is the human as the center of the task, environment, tools, and organization. So this is how the macroeconomics. And I would like to, actually, I wanted to expand my expertise to the disasters management because in the Philippines, we got hit by so many things, earthquake, volcanoes, and typhoon, flood, and so on, okay? So when there is a disaster, okay, there is a disaster. If you go directly things after the disaster, we call it disaster response. Like what? Taal. Okay. Taal, when it got exploded, it was funny, I opened my window. My house is next to SM Manila, actually. And then when I opened my window, I'm like, oh, what happened? This black there. It's like black, the smoke. Like I could see from my house. I'm like, what happened? And I suddenly I got called, like, hey, Taal exploded. I'm like, oh, okay. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, actually. Okay. And then after the response, we call it recovery. Okay. Recovery after the response. And this one, usually we go to the one dimension, we call it mitigation and preparedness. Okay. We prepare before the disaster. For example, the big one. Okay. I published about the big one. So this is we can go human factors in the disaster management study. Okay. This is my study with you can check in Science Direct. You can download it actually. In this one, it's about the TAAL. Okay, this is actually the response action. So this one, right after the explosion, I did the response actions. Okay, so what factors affecting the response actions? It's just the eruption characteristics, evacuation characteristics, and asset damage. Okay, so asset damage is actually the one that lead more to the response actions. I just found it like that. And this is another of my study with my PhD student. This is the disaster mitigation about the big one. Okay, so the big one is not yet. So we prepare it. So that's why this is like intention to prepare the big one. Okay, So this is I develop questionnaire, and this is actually the mechanism to someone to really follow the the big one. Okay, I have to finish the class in 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, and then because I have a meeting with Dinya. Okay, and then this is actually the thing that I talk about, the milk tea. Okay, another one in the consumer behavior. Okay, in when you buy milk tea or when you buy coffee, there are some attributes and some levels, diba? For example, which pearl size you like? You like big pearl or small pearl or no pearl? The sugar, you like normal or more sugar or less sugar? The price, 120, 150, 180 pesos. The brand, the type, you like milk tea or fruity? You like with cream cheese or without cream cheese? You like more ice, normal ice, less ice, or no ice? This is actually the things that you can do in this one, market analysis. Perhaps if you are from marketing, conjoin is one important method that perhaps you can use in your company. Many of my students in my previous classes, okay, they did conjoin because they say like, oh sir, this is useful for my company. Okay, then you can do the market analysis using conjoin. I will help you to run the program. I collected how many? 1,000 something, okay, respondents. And do you know what they care the most? What people care the most? Can you guess? Can you guess what people care the most of this one?
Pearls.
Hey, correct. How do you know? How do you know?
Personal personal preference too.
It makes sense. People care about the pearl the most. It makes sense. See, Ergo is very makes sense. You know what? I'm not lying with this one. This one. See, this is the percentage. Okay, if you add this one, it's going to be 100. The most important is the pearl size. So if you have a business with a drink, if you don't have the pearl, then don't dream your business will be successful. Okay, because the pearl size is very important for the Filipinos for Filipino respondents. Okay, or Filipino markets. Okay. Then the second most important is the sugar level, and after that the ice. Okay, the type is actually milk tea or fruity. The price, and then the cream cheese or not, and then the brand. So the brand is actually low. So if the brand is low, what it means? It means that if you would like to make a new, I would say that milk tea company, it's still competitive because the brand is actually not that important in here. But this is actually the keys, okay? And yeah, and what kind of pearl that you like? See, you can see this one among those levels. Which pearl you like? You like a big pearl. You like a big pearl. I don't know why you like the big. For me, I like small pearl. I don't know, because big pearl, like, it's so big for me. But of course, but I still like pearl. So no pearls. Look at that one. This is so negative, right? This one. The sugar level, they like normal sugar. For me, I like no sugar. Okay. The price, of course, the cheaper the better. 120 pesos is the most preferred. 180 pesos is the least preferred. Of course, it makes sense because and people like Gongcha the most, but actually this is very low. Look at that one, 0.0 something. So compared to the rest, this is very low because the importance of the brand is actually quite low. See, the brand just 2%. So that's why in here is also low. The type, you like milk tea more than the fruit tea. You like with cream cheese actually, but I cannot imagine like fruit tea with cream cheese. It sounds like and amount of ice, you like normal ice. So this is actually the best combination. Okay. This is the best combination. But even you do the best combination, there are some people that like fruity more than milk tea. There are small, perhaps from 1,000, let's say 100. Okay, perhaps there are still people like the fruity will meet. So later on, you can have diversify, in your product, like segmentation, just like what I did with your BS, MEPIE, and not MEPIE. You do like market segmentation like that one. The same thing with this one. You can do market segmentation with this one. But this is very consumer behavior. Okay, this is a study of consumer behavior. Of course, I can do this one too. In this is a part of macroeconomics. But anyway, that's another direction that you can do for the project for this class. So start with this is the common tips that I can share to everyone. Start with the thing that you like, passionate about. If you like something disaster, you like accident analysis, you like postural analysis, you like any kind of topics that you would like to do in this class, you can think about it. Okay, then let's decide what topic will you do in the next 4 weeks. I will make an assignment just tell me in one sentence, okay, what topic you will do. You know, for example, I will do accident analysis in let's say Toyota company. Yeah, then okay. Then now I know. Then we can start writing the introduction, the methodology, how you collect the data, and so on. But you know, the first 4 weeks, think about what topic you will do. But if you, for example, sir, I would like to do accident analysis because I have the data from my company. Yeah, it's okay. Then you can start doing the paper from now. But if you don't know, because the first 4 weeks, I will tell so many topics. Okay. Then all of you will like, oh yeah, this is interesting for me. Oh, that one is interesting for me. So you can do it for your final project. Okay. And determine the trends. What I mean the trends is actually like, for example, now people use what? Stay Safe Philippines. That's a new thing. Perhaps that's a good topic. Or when there is a disaster in the Philippines, you know, when someone, it's very funny that, for example, I published one paper about Bataan nuclear power plant. Can you imagine I published about Bataan? It will be, you can find it in Science Direct, hopefully next week. Okay, I'll share to everyone when I publish when the paper is available. And I don't do it for politics. I do it for science. I'm not politicians. Okay, so nobody care about the study about Bataan. So I'm like, hey, nobody care about Bataan. Then I should be the one who write the paper about Bataan. And of course, it got accepted. Reopening the Bataan, you know, is it okay or not okay? As simple as that. The basic questions. So when I watch the news, I'm like, oh yeah, Bataan. People like it or not? Why don't I just do a study about it? So I did, and it got published quite quick, less than 1 month, because Bataan is a very important topic. Okay. And I'm with you, so hopefully it's fine. And then let's just start doing it. If you know what you like to do, you can just do it now. For example, sir, can I just do postural analysis because it's easier for me? Because I don't know how to collect the data later on. You know, my job is very demanding. I don't have time to that one. Can I just do the physical ergo and then a postural analysis? Yeah, you can do Rula Riba, you know, and then a simple study, you know, and so on. And you can check the publications in the Blackboard. Okay, some of the previous series in the Blackboard, you can do it. You can see like, oh, this is the product of last year or last terms. Okay, that's all for the first class. Okay, everyone. I hope all of you know what topic you like to do, and I hope all of you know what is ergonomics now. So if someone says that, oh, it's about the chair, then you can say like, oh, come to Dr. Yogi's class. Okay, I will teach you that it's not just about the ergo chair. And even if you have ergo chair, and you feel like, oh, I have ergo chair, why I have back pain? Then you know, right? Because of what? Sustained posture. You know, you see, yeah, because you sit it for 3 hours. Then what's the difference between the ergo chair and non-ergo chair if you do not have the brain of if you don't have the knowledge of the ergo? If you buy ergo friendly, then you know, if you don't have the knowledge, what for you buy it, you know? So that's why ergo is not just about that. It's many things. Okay, the link I will upload to YouTube, and I will share the link in the Blackboard so you can check. Okay, you can check the link, the Blackboard, so you can go with it. Okay, so I will upload this one to YouTube first, and I will share the link to the Blackboard. Okay. Very interesting. Not just ergo chair. Yeah, of course, not just ergo chair. So that's why I get angry when it's just like, because when I say ergonomics, either someone say, oh, you're good at money, or like someone say, oh, it's just about the chair. I'm like, okay. Okay, any questions before I end the class? So far, so good?
So far, so good, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so far, so good?
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, if so far so good, no questions, then I'll see you again, everyone, next week, and then the same time, you know, 10 a.m. Manila time. But perhaps next week it will be a little bit longer, 2.5 hours or 3 hours. Okay, next week, because the topics I will start talking in details about how to measure and how to utilize the things, you know, do the ergo intervention and so on. Today is the introduction, but not just introduction, but introduction to all the things in ergo. So starting from next week, it will be like one, but it's deep, you know, one, but it's deep, you know, and so on. Okay, if you have any questions, okay, you can message me, you can chat me, you can email me, you can put my Fiber, or I put my phone number, okay. For my Fiber, okay, you can put, you can Fiber me, you can discuss with me. But the most important for you, okay, it's better for you to decide what topic you will do for my class right now. You know, I will upload that PPT to the Blackboard so you can scroll like, this is interesting for me. I want to do this one. Perhaps this one, job design is interesting because I have problems with my human resource, or I have things that I would like to discuss in the paper, related to my workplace about the human resource and so on. Perhaps that's also the thing that you can do at this moment. Okay, if no more questions, then I will end this class and see you next week, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you, sir. Bye
Thank you, sir.
bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, I stop the recording.